What's up guys, welcome back to another video. So we go through Gameweek 33 in the Premier League. Brentford against Brighton. Brentford are winless in their last 8 league home games. Brighton and Hove Albion are winless in their last 4. Ever since Lewis Dunk came back into the team, they have not been good. There is still hope for Brighton to get into Europe though, but if they are to do that, they need to be winning this sort of game against the Brentford side who are just behind them in the table, and I'm backing them to do it. 2-1 Brighton. It is incredible how Brentford's form has just fallen off a cliff at home, but their away form turned really good. Like, how does that even happen? Crystal Palace against Bournemouth. Crystal Palace just held 10 goals until last week, conceding 5 to both Manchester City and Newcastle. It was embarrassing. Eze as well, I love him. Obviously my boy, former QPR hero. But what was that penalty? That's one of the worst I've ever seen in my life. Bournemouth got their first win after 6 without one against Fulham last time out. They're up against London opposition again this time away, and I think they're going to make it back-to-back wins. I've gone 2-1 to the Cherries. I think Crystal Palace has sort of become a bit distracted by the FA Cup semi-final on the horizon and potential chance at silverware. Bournemouth are currently in 8th, which would become a Conference League spot if Crystal Palace don't win the FA Cup. Everton against Manchester City. Everton have only won 1 out of the last 7, but they've only lost 1 in 12. So they are getting a lot of draws. Manchester City, very inconsistent. You don't know what team they're going to put out because Pep Guardiola seems to have some form of dementia. Sometimes it's a great team with De Bruyne playing with runners like Doku, Savinho. But in the other games where he'll play Kovacic, Gundogan together with De Bruyne and Foden. And it's like, what are you doing, man? This is just not going to work. They drew 1-1 at the Etihad, and I think they're going to draw 1-1 at Goodison Park as well. Everything will be too strong defensively. I don't back Pep Guardiola to put out a proper lineup. West Ham against Southampton. Southampton are already relegated. They held a 3-0 loss against Aston Villa in their last game. They're going up against another claret and blue team, and I think they're going to lose 3-0 again. West Ham's results have been not really reflective of their performances in my opinion. Like, defensively they've improved so much on the Lopetegui, and last time out against Liverpool away they hit the woodwork twice and they were really unlucky not to get anything from that game. And this will be the start of the Graham Potter era at West Ham. I think he'll have a good end to the season next summer. Hopefully he gets a few players he wants, and then I think West Ham are on for a successful season next year. It would be mad if James Ward-Prowse scored a free kick or something against the club that he loves, you know. Aston Villa against Newcastle, a huge game in the race for Champions League. Newcastle have won 5 straight games in the league, 6 if you count the cup win over Liverpool, and they have jumped up into 3rd position in the Premier League. They just had a blinding week, beating Manchester United 4-1 and beating Crystal Palace 5-0. Like, that is mad. Harvey Barnes is showing the player that he is. He is so good when he gets to run a games on the left wing. I don't know why he plays on the right wing when Gordon's in the team. If anything, it should be the other way because Harvey Barnes is a significantly better shooter, but Gordon quicker, probably a better crosser from that side anyway. Like, I know Gordon doesn't like playing on the right, but he's the worst out of the 2 players, so Barnes should get the left wing. Aston Villa have won 4 straight league games as well, though they're in good form. They did just lose on aggregate to Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League, but they won on the night. A really good second half performance as well, especially the first 20 minutes before Onana went off. Usually Villa don't do very well after European night, but Newcastle played the day after, so they will have even less rest, and Villa's squad is much bigger, so they can afford to rotate a little bit more. Villa probably do need to win this more than Newcastle do. Newcastle, even if they lose this, are still in a good place to get in the Champions League, whereas Villa won't be if they don't get a win here. And Villa are still in the FA Cup as well, they might have an eye on that game. Aston Villa's record against Newcastle on the whole isn't great. It's 10-9 to Villa at Villa Park, so Newcastle do have a pretty good record there. Eddie Howe won't be on the dugout though, and he usually does get the better of Emery, but I still expect Newcastle to get something. I've gone 2-2. Jason Tindall has done a brilliant job in Eddie Howe's absence, by the way. A great assistant manager, and you can tell exactly why him and Eddie Howe have such a good relationship. Hopefully Harvey Barnes scores again, but I think Morgan Rogers and probably Jacob Ramsey will score for Villa, Harvey Barnes, and I'm going to say Sandro Tonali again against Aston Villa. He has been absolutely exceptional, by the way, since his return to the team, man. What a player. Fulham against Chelsea, West London derby, an SW6 derby if you want to be even more specific. Enzo Maresca though is an absolute clown. Like, he has said Reece James is not going to play more than 1 game a week, which is fair enough given his injury record. But why does he keep playing him in the Conference League? Chelsea were 3-0 up after the first leg. Why is he playing the second leg, bro? Like, it just makes no sense. And they lost that second leg. They played such a strong team and they lost, man. Enzo Maresca is so bad. He will be sacked by the summer. He deserves to be sacked because he's made Cole Palmer look more useless than a bag of fucking frozen peas, man. I don't understand how he's managed to turn one of the most exciting attacking players in the Premier League into someone who looks like they've never played football before. And Fulham won at Stamford Bridge for the first time in the Premier League ever. I think they're going to do the double over Chelsea. They're going to win 2-1 again. Marco Silva will teach Enzo Maresca a footballing lesson because he is a billion times the manager that Maresca will ever be. And Fulham did have their European hopes pretty much ended last week against Bournemouth. This time they have the opportunity to end Chelsea's Champions League hopes, and I hope they can do it, even though I do dislike both of them very heavily. Ipswich Town against Arsenal. That Arsenal performance at the Bernabeu, an absolute masterclass from Mikel Arteta over both legs. Declan Rice proved that he is the best midfielder in the world. And Mikel Merino as a number 9 is exceptional, man. Why was this guy playing as a central midfielder his whole career? Ipswich's home record has been abysmal this season. They've only won 1 game at Portman Road in the whole campaign in the league, which is awful. Arsenal's away record isn't amazing. They do draw a lot. And to be fair, no one would blame them if they didn't take this seriously anymore, because they're not going to win the league, but they're in the Champions League semi-final, so just rest everyone. Don't allow anyone to get injured. Even if that's the case, I still expect them to win 2-0. I think it will be fairly comfortable. Defensively, they're too strong. Ipswich won't be able to break through, and then they'll get a couple goals on the counter or something. You know, a set piece will go in because Ipswich aren't very good at defending them. Manchester United against Wolves. Manchester United's game in Europe was an absolute classic, man. Like, they went 2-0 up, then it looked like they bottled it against 10 men. The last 5 minutes of extra time was unbelievable, man. 120 minutes of pure football. It was so entertaining. But this game comes just a couple of days after that. They will be knackered, and to be fair, they shouldn't really even care about this game. Just rest everyone, make sure no one gets injured ahead of a semi-final. Xerxes is already out for the season because he played last week against Newcastle when he shouldn't have. These boys need a rest, man. Like, there's no point risking anyone else getting injured. Only 3 points separate these two sides now as well, which is incredible when you think of the position Wolves were in when Pereira took over. Wolves did win at Molineux. I do think they will get away from Old Trafford without a defeat, but I've gone 1-1. I would not be surprised if Wolves win this, and I think they are the more likely team out of the two to win, because Manchester United's home record under Amorim, especially in the league, has been really bad. But Old Trafford will probably be very bouncy after that game against Lyon. Leicester City against Liverpool. There's no chance that Leicester do anything here, man. Ruud van Nistelrooy, they won't talk about him. He's so bad. Liverpool pretty much now have the league wrapped up. Van Dijk and Salah have got new contracts as well. I've gone 3-1. That is actually very, very nice to Leicester, because this could easily be 6-0 to Liverpool, and I wouldn't be surprised if it is. But I think it'll be very similar to Leicester's game against Newcastle a few weeks ago. Liverpool will take the lead. They'll be 3-0 up within half an hour. They'll relax, but at the end of the game, Leicester will get a goal, and they need to get a goal because it's been ages since the King Power faithful score a goal scored by their team, and that is just so sad, man. Tottenham against Nottingham Forest. This could be any scoreline, to be honest with you. Tottenham got through their Europa League game as well, beating Frankfurt, which is a very good result. We're a little bit lucky. Like, Frankfurt had a lot of chances that they did not put away. But like Manchester United and like Arsenal, there's no point in them really even trying in the league. They might as well rest everyone and keep everyone fresh for the Europa League. I think even if they played the full strength team, they would get battered by Nottingham Forest anyway. I've gone 3-1 to the Tricky Trees. I won't be surprised to see them score 5, because the way they play is just perfectly suited to attack Tottenham. Like, they will leave so much space in behind, and Hilanga, if he's fit, Hudson-Odoi, Jota Silva, whoever plays, man, they're going to exploit that so well. Those are my predictions this week. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I'll see you soon for another video.